So,
I'm the only one on it right now.
okay.
If someone else-
Welcome to the public square. This one has a slightly different format, and we will go over how to submit your impact and everything at the end. But we will need your participation for this event. It should be fun and exciting for you, and it will help us and you learn how we can work together to have more community engagement here at WSU. So this is Jessica Peroni, the Assistant Director of the Center for Civic Engagement.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming today. So today's topic is overcoming barriers to community engagement. Naturally, this is a topic that's close to our hearts because we are the Center for Civic Engagement, and our goal is to find community service projects that help meet the goals of our community and the goals of students. So we're going to work together today to talk about how do we overcome some barriers to getting students involved and getting everybody's goals met at the same time. So like Dave said, in a typical public square, there's a panel, and the panel talks about their expertise and shares information with you. But today it's the reverse. So you all are the experts because we need your information and we need to know about your thoughts and your ideas. So this is kind of like a reverse public square. So we're really glad that there's a good group of you to be here. We want to have an interactive conversation about community engagement and get your perspective on engagement projects and opportunities and avenues, whatever it is that's in the community engagement world, what you want to be a part of, so that we know how to make that happen. This is the staff of the Center for Civic Engagement. We, as you can see, this takes a whole team of staff to talk with community partners, to understand what their goals are, to develop service projects, to get those service projects on GivePulse, to advertise the projects to you, to have you register, to go do the project, then record your hours. It takes all these people to make it happen. So all of us want to be able to be doing our role in student affairs to serve and take your lead and take the lead from you to know how you want to be involved, what projects you want to do, so we can all kind of synchronize this process together. So the first question that we need input from you on is, what kind of community service projects have you done and what do you like? Even if you haven't done it yet, what do you want to do? So if you could go to the QR code, we're going to take 2 minutes to watch your input populate on the Padlet. So if you can't get to the QR code, please let us know, but take a photo. What community service projects have you liked and why? All right, get environmental folks here, so stream cleanups, writing letters to foster kids, the theater, Water sources for fish populations, that's awesome. Food drives. Cleaning the parks. Food bank around the holidays or a toy drive around the holidays because you can't go wrong with food and toys at the holiday season. Yes. Letter writing because you can do it from home. Absolutely. It's a great way to connect and fitting in community service in an already full schedule. It's good to prioritize that. Is there anybody on YouTube? Okay. Okay, we'll give it one more minute. There's still some people typing. Ooh, youth triathlon, cheering on the youth. Was that the Moscow Youth Triathlon? Yeah, cool, good. Glad you went. And since we're still on this page, if there's any details you want to add to why these were ones that you really liked or chose, there's still time to do that too. Okay, face-to-face work where you can see the impact you're making. Yeah, that is very rewarding right away. So I totally agree with you. Okay, thanks for this input. And I can see the theme of wanting to be active, enjoying a variety of options. So we have everything from letter writing to stream cleanup, working with animals, doing food drives. So it already shows the variety of ways that you do like to be involved. Now, kind of the million-dollar question is, what are the challenges that prohibit you from participating in community service? Challenges are any barriers, and think broadly. Think of what you wish people would know of when you're scheduling something. Please consider this, because this is really a barrier for me. I want to do it, but I have these challenges.
Chemistry homework.
Agreed. Okay, let me slide over here. This is populating on the... Okay. Scheduling and being informed of the service events. So transportation, it's hard to fit things in your schedule when you have to include transportation. Busy class and work schedules. Impact submission. It's difficult to submit an impact sometimes. That's okay. Time constraints, scheduling conflicts, or too far from home or campus, transportation and work, time, class schedules, lack of weekend opportunities, chemistry homework. Yes. Say no more. Homework in classes. Everyone at the CCE is too nice. Okay. Now that was just too kind. And we agree. So a theme here, transportation, time constraints, We know that your students first, you have busy schedules. A lot of people are working multiple jobs. So those are challenges. And these are all good things for us to know because we need to be planning things and working with community so that there are options that fit a majority of everybody's schedule. That's the goal. So we have this challenge at the CCE of we've been talking about for over a year of how do we remove the barriers to bring more students into community service? How do we make this more accessible? We've tried a variety of ways, and we're kind of just trying things out and seeing what the results are. But we know that we can be probably more methodical, more systematic. What can we do? We need to know from the students. You're the audience. We want to know your ideas. So today we're going to do this through a model that's called social learning leadership. Hold on a second. In social learning leadership, this model of solving challenges is a special kind of model because it intentionally brings in new ideas and new voices, new learners to solve complex challenges together. And as you can see, scheduling community engagement and just being involved in community engagement is challenging and complex in itself. It takes all those people I showed you before to make projects happen. So we know it's challenging. So we're going to use this model today to address this complex challenge. And we are heavily relying on the collective wisdom of the group here. So this is where we really need your input to find some solutions to our challenge. Also, it's twofold. So I'm going to tell you about what is social learning leadership and why it's important, how we can implement it, but also we're doing this together to practice because this is a model and something that you can take back to groups that you're a part of and implement it and use it with groups when you have challenges in other areas of your life. So today is twofold: to give us information and also a resource or a tool for you to solve challenges in the future too. So this is a really important model, and why you should try this model out is because it's equitable. It brings in people to build stronger relationship. It's seeking new voices, and it makes space for everybody's contributions. It helps people connect with intention and attention. You're coming together around a particular challenge. So you have a reason to be there. You have a reason to talk, and there is a method to solving the challenge. We want to learn from each other's experiences. When you're going through this method, which we're going to get to soon, it heavily relies on your lived experience and things that this challenge makes you think of. So that's why you need to have a real diverse set of people in the team or in the group, because those lived experiences are really important, and there's a special time to share that. And then lastly, this is a really inclusive way to solve challenges because it brings in new voices outside the traditional group of your go-to people. It's not uncommon that when you have a problem, you have kind of your group that you go to talk it through. But in this way, you may include those people, but you also have to think outside of that group and think of who have I never talked to before, or who is also maybe having this challenge, and let's intentionally invite them to the table and give them a seat. So in this model, it is not anything about hierarchy, positionality, or job titles. In this model is very empowering because you are not waiting around for somebody else to give you the solutions to a challenge. You're coming together as a group to find solutions together. And it could be anybody. It could be anybody in your life, anybody in a class. It really is looking for new ideas and new lived experiences. Okay, so that's the what. The who of this model is who we are when we come together in that group to solve a challenge. This group is called a community of practice. And now we are automatically a community of practice today because we are all coming together around a particular challenge. And we want to know how to do it better by interacting together. So welcome to the community of practice. These are social learning environments, and that means that no one person in the community of practice is the expert. The more diverse ideas, the better. So we welcome anybody to join this community as long as they want to be there to help us solve a challenge. The whole purpose is just to share resources, ideas, lived experiences, strategies, innovation, and be supportive of each other. So finally, we get to the how. How do we do this? We do this through a collective problem-solving workshop. And that's what we're going to do together next. We are coming together around a particular challenge. So today, Dave and I are going to present to you a challenge that we are facing so that we can not only get your input, but also model this workshop so that you can see how to do this in the future with groups you're a part of. We know that this can be a robust experiences because there's a wide variety of ideas and skill sets in the room already, and that we encourage equitable sharing of ideas. So you can see through the process, there's specific times and prompts that we will go through so that everyone has a chance to share. So this is what the model looks like. Dave and I are the presenters today. We are going to bring you a challenge to get your input on. We will start each sentence with the prompt that's there. So when we present our challenge to you, we will start with the words, can you help me with, or can you help us with? Then we'll move to the group, and that's you all. You start every sentence you say with share more about. So we're going to say our challenge, but you naturally are going to have some questions and need more context. So that's your role to say, can you share more about blah, 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 whatever your question is. But when you start with those words. Then after you get more information, Dave and I are going to be quiet, and this is your turn to talk and kind of rapid fire or whatever ideas come to mind. This makes me think of. That's what you're going to start every comment with. So after you know more about our challenge, you're going to tell us more about what this challenge makes you think of and how it's connected to your lived experience. Dave and I will stay quiet. Then we'll move to you might try. And this is where you give suggestions about wise next steps forward for us. Then after a few minutes, that will pause, and Dave and I will talk about what struck us, like what ideas really are like light bulb moments, things that we think we can implement, or just great ideas that we would never have thought about on our own. And you do have this paper in front of you to follow to, and it'll be on the screen. Any questions about the model? Okay, and we do stick to the times because that helps us move forward, stay on task, and it mostly eliminates when you're in a group discussion and maybe there's somebody who has an idea or it goes off on a tangent or a soapbox. And we don't have time for that when things are structured like this and there's time allotted. Okay. Okay, Dave, so do you want to present the challenge?
Yep. So the issue we have or that we're experiencing is we have that big group of people that you saw earlier. All those people are working to get our community partners involved, to find out what the communities need, to build relationships with those partners, to figure out what they need and how we can provide those resources. And then we need to connect you, WSU students, with those community partners in as efficient a way as possible. So we want to make sure that you have opportunities that are also meaningful and can be transformative to your experience here, right? We know that when you interact with the community partners that we have, it makes a big difference for them and the community, and it makes a big difference for you and your educational trajectory. But it's hard work, and it's hard to do that. Like we saw a bunch of things, barriers and challenges that you have, and so we don't always know how to overcome those. We don't even always know what those are. So, can you help? So can you help us with understanding how we can do a better job of reaching you and connecting you with the work that makes sense to you and is meaningful to you. Can you help us with that problem?
Awesome. Okay, so now it is the group's turn, and Yemi will bring you the microphone to ask questions and gain more context on kind of on the question. So you'll start with, please share more about. What do you want to know about our challenge? Oh, in the back, Yemi? Can you bring your mic to the back? Oh, okay.
Could you share more about the different roles you have within your team?
Sure. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, we have various areas on our team. I'm the student engagement coordinator, so I help students like you find opportunities. We have service learning courses, so we have a team who works with the professors and other instructors at the institution to make sure that they have the needs, their needs met in providing service that's built into the curriculum. It's part of the class. We have community partners, a community partner team who reaches out to the various partners that we have and builds relationships with them, find out what their needs are and find out when they need groups or what they need to be successful with us. And we have a CCE-led projects team, and they actually, it's a really cool part of our team. They have a series of a bunch of project leaders and vehicles, and they take you out to the various community partners that we have. You do the service with them, and then they lead you in a little bit of a pre-flexion as you drive out, and when you come back, they lead you in a reflection after the fact. And then we have some more professional staff. We have Ben Calabretta in the corner. He's our director. Jessica's our assistant director. And that's really an overview of our team.
Go ahead.
Could you share more about how we could reach out to the CCE?
Sure. So CCE is here in the Cub. We are in the lower level, right down the hallway in L48. We have a website, we have WSU CCE social media, and we usually are available and advertise projects on email right now.
Yep, you reach us via email, via GivePulse, via social media. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So you can also contact us. We'd love to see you in person. As Jessica mentioned, we're just right down the hall, or you can reach us via telephone. Other questions?
Dave, do you want to share more about how we are advertising the opportunities, the variety of projects now, how we do that now?
Yeah, we do try to reach out to students in various ways, including social media. Instagram is our social media that is primarily aimed at students. We do have, as I mentioned, a Twitter and a Facebook page, which we use in a little bit more of a targeted way. We do some outreach to student groups via both GivePulse, where if you sign up in GivePulse as part of us, we call them subgroups. If you're part of a fraternity or sorority chapter, or you're part of a registered student organization, we might reach out to you that way. We post opportunities on Presence. Has anyone ever seen a CCE event or tried to find a CCE event on Coop Presence? Yeah, some yes, some no. Those are some of the ways that we reach out. And did anyone get a message or an email from GivePulse advertising this particular event? So we do some email outreach, both with the service that we have and through GivePulse. So those are some of the ways that we reach you, and we would be interested in hearing more from you about ways later, about ways that we could do a better job of reaching you so that you can be informed about the opportunities that we have available.
Okay, we'll go to the next step. Okay, so in this round for 5 minutes, Dave and I stay quiet, and this is where the group shares. And this heavily relies on your lived experience, stories, examples of projects, whatever it is that our challenge makes you think of, or anything about community engagement. You can start your sentence with, "This makes me think of," and just share your thoughts. It's open.
Is this like challenges you face while doing like community service?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to do community service yesterday, and then I had to do this homework, so then I didn't go. So that
Yeah.
was a challenge. But I emailed them.
It's good.
Yeah.
This makes me think of an AP research project I had back in high school. I had to have, I guess, people taking my survey, and I had to find the right places to ask them. Like mine was about like pregnancy and maternity and stuff like that. So I had to go to places like Planned Parenthood and like women's shelters to see if they would take my survey. Like I guess just finding the right place to do it.
Yeah.
This makes me think of like at home, all of the service projects I've done is like in groups and stuff. And like part of the thing that was getting in the way of me like signing up for service this semester was like I was scared to do it by myself. So that like
Yeah.
makes me think of that.
Yeah. When you think of any community service, what comes to mind? It can be very broad.
This challenge makes me think of a challenge that I had with my work over the summer where we were making lunches for the firefighters, but we couldn't find a way to transport the lunches over to them. So we had to reach out to another department in the grocery store to start saving boxes so we had something to transport the lunches in.
One of the main challenges that like I had was back like my hometown when I tried to do like community service was typically like getting to it because like transportation, like it was not very walkable and like it was like very far away usually, and that was one of my main struggles for me to get active.
This presentation makes me think of all the times I've participated in community service within Pullman and meeting all of the directors and people in charge of those events, and how they always share like how they're really open to volunteers coming because they need more help. And like just overall, this presentation makes me think of like the amount of resources that could be shared within the community.
Think of your community engagement class, actually. I would say that that was the first place that I really found the resources to be able to reach out to the CC, reach out to other places where I could do community engagement, figure out what it was, and where I could go to do it.
Kind of like bouncing off of what she said, like the only reason why I really knew about like these opportunities was because of a class that I was in. And before that, I had no idea like about any of them. It was just because you came in during one of my class periods and I was like, oh, okay, got it. There's actually like opportunities to do these things.
Any other shared experience, lived experience, anything about community service that this makes you think of? Okay, thank you. So now the fun part is we are asking you to give us suggestions on things we should try. And remember, our challenge is reaching students, creating project opportunities that are accessible, are timely, fit with the needs of the students, fit with the goals of the community. We have that is our main challenge that we're relying on you to give us input for. So we need your advice. This is where you just start giving us wise next steps, and nothing is too crazy, nothing is too small or too big. Just we need your ideas on how we can wisely move forward. So when you have an idea, start with "you might try."
It's a great idea for you all to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on. Cool. You can filter on GivePulse, but sometimes there's not an event that matches it, and then like 2 days later, one pops up, but you have no idea, and then you miss all the slots. So like a notification button would be dope, just like a push notification, like, hey, there's an event now.
I know you guys said you were active on social media, and I think that's a really big platform for students to engage with. So you might try collaborating or working on social media posts with bigger accounts like the WSU Pullman account or certain colleges on campus, like the business college, because a lot of students follow that and only pay attention to that because a lot of people my age don't want to read their emails. So I think a lot of social media like collaborations would help a lot in informing students.
You might try putting 2 events on at the same time, if at all possible. That way, if people are carpooling, they don't have to be going to the same event. They could carpool to a town and then split their ways and then meet back up to carpool back.
So you said you invest a lot of your resources and people into social media and like reaching out virtually. I find it super easy. Like if it gets sent to my email, I immediately slide it in the junk if I'm busy. Same thing with social media. I scroll. So an idea I would propose is direct more resources, if you can, to in-person classrooms that would, subject their students to mandatory events like this.
I personally don't check social media that often, so I would suggest going into more classrooms and a wider variety of majors to talk to more people and inform them better.
I know that you guys talked about sorority and fraternity organizations going through GivePulse a lot. I think if you did like a programming about the CC, right? And the ways that Greek life would be able to participate in events and more volunteering opportunities. Like personally, I knew about GivePulse, but I didn't know about the CCE. So I think if you did more like, presentations about it, it would get to more people.
Also, like adding on to that, I know some groups will like come into chapter meetings where like everyone's like required to go, and like that would be a good like a short like presentation and like recap or like whatever the word is.
Yeah, good idea. And over here.
You might also try working with like departments at like the Connors College of Business or any other college here, and like have professors pitch certain events to students that would affect them directly. So if you have like environmental majors, environmental science majors, you could work with them on how to like live in the environment for much bigger projects like that kind of thing.
Great, thank you.
Or you might try to maybe have some more group events, maybe send out an email to like meet at the Thompson Flats or something, because someone was mentioning that they were afraid to go to these events alone. So maybe just more like bonding experiences with the regular attendees would be helpful.
Thank you. Any other ideas? We need your ideas. So anything that you would like to suggest to us, we are so happy to listen to.
I don't know if you guys already do this, but starting like really early on in the year before everyone like is tired and exhausted and doesn't
Yeah.
want to join things, is like a good idea because, or I guess you might try having a booth at like the club fair, even though it's not technically a club. Like that's a pretty popular event, and like people are always looking to join activities and groups, so it's a good place to start.
I think culturally is a big thing when reaching out, and so I think I'm not in a frat, I'm not in Greek life, but I know a lot of my friends in sororities and in fraternities. They all do a plethora of work through Give Pulse, and so that's 7,000 kids, right, or close to that, close to 10, something like that. And so I think if you would even partner with, I know that's a little weird, but even use some of these Greek systems as sort of like a network to kind of push, because before going to college, I didn't do any sort of I don't know, work like this. And so I stayed away from it. I thought it was like bad and boring, but like, I don't know, going through this, you kind of learn that it is helpful and to give back to the community and do something worth for yourself. So I think if you could kind of get the Greek system involved, almost like to raise cultural awareness or to push it on their chapters, you could kind of almost get a movement through that if they continue to spread it to all their friends.
This one's less advertisement and it's more engagement, but you could also look at like your previous activity engagements by like time slot, season, day of the week, and see when they're higher, or just put like a server or survey and see when people are available most, and then you could focus more of your events there. Because a lot of times I'll get an event that's like a Tuesday at noon and like I'm in a lab, so it's not going to happen. But if you put out one and you see like, oh, everybody's free Sunday for longer periods, we could do larger events Sundays.
Yeah.
To kind of run off what he just said, like also like using the advantage of like seasons and stuff, you could take advantage of how long we have sunlight and how much nicer it is. And you could also like do things that are a tiny bit later, because sometimes people do got labs and stuff. So you can have time to just head out and it's a little bit later and you can make it.
Okay. Oh, I gotta go to the next one. Sorry. All right, that was so great. Thank you for all those ideas. And there are some things that I definitely had never considered, and some themes that I've heard you all saying of that come to us, come to our class, talk to us about what is available, and that try more things on the weekends, try things seasonally, working with Greek life. So things that struck me were things where what struck me was that we can talk more as a team at the CCE about being visible with students where they are and talking to them where they are and what they want to do, rather than advertising and waiting for students to come to us. So that theme that I was hearing really struck me. So thank you for that.
Yeah, one thing that struck me is I didn't do a great job of talking about all the ways that we reach out to students, because we got a lot of good feedback and ideas, some of which we do. I should have probably mentioned that we are at the Get Involved Fair. We do table at New Coug Orientation. We're at Conexión. We're at La Benvenida. We do table. Sometimes we table upstairs in the Cub here, and we love to reach out to students in person. It's a great way to meet people and talk about what we do. Another thing that struck me, a big theme, was the theme of reaching out and connecting with people in person, both working with Greek Life as a cultural thing, reaching out to individual chapters and presenting as programming. I wish I had $1. Maybe I do have $1. That's about what I make, is $1 for every time I've proposed CCE presenting to Greek Life chapters as programming. The Center for Fraternity and Sorority Life has other ideas for what counts as programming, so that's not going to work. But we would absolutely love to present to your chapters anytime. That's something that we have done in the past, and we would love to do more of that in the future. One thing that struck me is I supervise a team of undergraduate staff peer mentors, and I would love to have them more engaged and involved, presenting to groups, whether it's registered student organizations, clubs, fraternity or sorority chapters, or just other groups that are interested in getting involved in community service. And that definitely struck me. So if you wanted to make known that that was something that you're interested in to your chapter presidents or your RSO leadership, we would love to come present to you, and we can work with your schedule to find people who can come out at any time. Another thing that struck me was, man, we heard a lot of weekends,
Weekends.
afternoons. You guys
Right.
put on events that are not in times that we can make it.
Right.
And that can be a challenge, finding times for our community partners when they're available and they can accommodate student groups. That's not always the same as when students are available. We definitely do hear that, and that is wonderful feedback.
Yes.
Another thing that struck me was transportation is a big issue, and that is a lot of students don't have transportation, or they don't have reliable transportation, or getting to projects is difficult. Someone earlier asked for a high-level overview of the parts of our office, and I mentioned our CCE-led projects. Our CCE-led projects, you will meet here in the Cub on campus, and then you'll go out with a small group of students, between 2 and maybe 6 students. You'll go out into the community with transportation that we provide. So the project leaders that I mentioned, they will drive you in a CCE vehicle to the project. There are a couple of dozen or even more CCE-led projects every single week. There are some on the weekend. How many are on the weekends? 5? Every weekend? There's 5? Every weekend, apparently. I did not know that. I thought there was like 3. Every weekend, there are 5 projects on the weekend where you can meet here, and we will drive you to the event. Maybe we need to work on communication, since I thought there were only half that many. But transportation shouldn't always be an issue. We can definitely accommodate that with our CCE-led projects. So thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, weekends and evenings. Okay. So thanks for participating. This information is so valuable to us, and we will take it back to our teams, and we are planning for the next semester and next year and see how we can integrate all this. But on the other side of the coin, we said we were practicing this for us to receive valuable information from you. But by a show of hands, do you feel that this model is something, and this dialogue is something that you could use with groups you're a part of to solve a challenge together? Would anyone like to share like a group they were thinking they could do it with, this model? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm so bad with the microphone. Okay.
I was thinking recently my roommates and I decided that we were going to start having more open dialogues, because 2 of them are kind of like silently feuding right now. So I feel like this could definitely be helpful to make things more open and get things out on the table.
Definitely a challenge. Anybody else want to share? Would you want to share about a group you might want to try it with? Okay.
I was going to say, like, I think with a break coming up, it'd be nice to do with my family. And, like, you know, there's always family drama happening over the Thanksgiving dinner table. So I may as well bring that up there, you know what I mean? To be useful.
I hadn't thought of that. So we weren't even the You Might Try, and we're still getting the You Might Try. Did you think
You
about
might try
trying
it
this
at
with your family?
Thanksgiving. I'm going to pack this in my suitcase. Thank you. Okay, well, we sincerely thank you for being here. Dave made a lot of notes. We hope that you will find us on social media, drop by our office, and hopefully you'll be seeing more of us where you are in the future, in the next year, so that we can get you more engaged.
Just one bit of housekeeping. When you submit your impact, why don't you please take a selfie or have a partner, friend take a picture of you here and submit that with your impact. When you upload the file, if the file says HEIC, we're not going to be able to open it. I've asked for some software to be able to open HEIC, but we don't have it yet. So you'll want to make sure that it attaches as either a JPEG or save it as a PDF so that we can open it. Thank all of you for attending, and we will have more public squares next semester. One thing we really meant is we would love to see you anytime, and the feedback, the You Might Try, is not limited to this session alone. You can give us hopefully constructive feedback and positive feedback at any time. We are in the lower level of the Cub, L45 and L48, and you can reach us online as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, it's blurry. Hold on. Oh, okay, yeah. Ooh, I like that. Wait, one more.